Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm going to be sharing all of my favorite makeup products. Some of these are going to be a little bit repetitive. I've mentioned them in the past. Some of them are a little bit more recent. I just did 2 videos on decluttering my entire makeup collection, so I'll try to remember to link those in cards and in the description box. But anyways, let's just go ahead and get into the favorites. I'll go in order of how I apply them to my face. Starting out with base, in the past, I've kind of gone back and forth, but for the most part, in the last few years, I haven't really been using as much primer. I more just love a really good moisturizer or serum or something as a base for my makeup. The one I've been using lately is something I got in PR, and it's really pricey, so I just am mentioning it because it's what I've been using, and I really, really love it. This is the new Charlotte Tilbury Magic Water Cream, the fragrance-free one. I know that the other one people said had kind of like a strong scent to it. This one does not, and I do think it's a different formula than the other one. It's very creamy and hydrating, but lightweight at the same time. And the thing that makes this so special is the absolutely beautiful dew and glow that this gives the skin, and it lasts, like it stays around even underneath your makeup, or if you don't put makeup on, it leaves that look to the skin, but not in like a greasy, glossy way, just like a beautiful, dewy glow. It's kind of hard to explain. I know so many products will add a glow to your skin. I just feel like this is special. It does it differently in a way I haven't seen anything else do. But anyways, the other base kind of product that I've been loving is like a lip mask situation. This is the Lawless Forget the Filler lip plumping mask. It's so good. It's so thin on the lips, but it gives that slight minty tingle without burning or being uncomfortable at all. And this one is in Sweet Dreams. I know they have like birthday cake and a cherry one, but this one is more on the light side. You don't really notice much of a scent or anything, and it doesn't have like a tint to it. Moving on to the actual makeup now. As far as a base product, this is kind of hard to narrow down because I do love quite a few. But I think if I had to pick one that's just a great staple that I always go back to, and I am wearing it on my skin right now. This is the Fenty Beauty Easy Drop Blurring Skin Tint. I know this was really popular a while ago. By the way, you guys, I'm sorry if I'm kind of washed out right now. It's after dark, so I'm just using studio lights, and I feel like I'm looking a little overexposed, but hopefully it turns out being okay. Anyways, this is just a really great versatile product because I feel like it can be used for like a very light everyday product, or when you're doing a little bit more of a full glam look, because it has decent like medium coverage, but it looks so natural and skin-like and gives you this nice satin finish. It's not dewy, it's not too matte. It just makes the skin look really even. This is just one that I always go back to, and I feel like it's become a staple. Again, I know it's been really talked about, but I want to talk about my personal favorites. I do have to say though, as far as just how much I love the way it looks on my skin, it is probably second place to the Missha Perfect Cover BB Cream that I've talked about so many times. And you guys might wonder why this isn't the one I mentioned, but I've said it before that when I wear it for a long time, it does give me this kind of itchiness on my jawline and neck area. It doesn't make me break out or like give me a rash. It just kind of makes my skin a little bit itchy in that area, and I don't know what's up with that. I haven't heard anyone else say that. I'm pretty sure it's just a me issue, so I definitely recommend you check this out if you haven't already. It's affordable. You can find it on Amazon. They don't have the best shade range, but if you can find a shade that works for you, it is a beautiful product. It makes my skin look absolutely flawless and gives this kind of like lit from within glow, but it's not too dewy, and it's stunning. But like I said, this is like a reliable product. I know it doesn't give my skin any issues, and it always looks good. But this one, I like it just a little bit more how it looks on my skin, but it's just the irritation issue. I couldn't just mention this, so just wanted to say that. But those are my 2 favorite like face products. And then for concealer, it's still the Nars Soft Matte Complete Concealer. Mine is so old, I really need to purchase a new one, and I will soon because it's honestly the best concealer I've ever used. I know I've mentioned other concealers here and there that I do like, but I think just in the last year or so, I don't know, I've noticed an even increased issue with the creases under my eyes. I've always had dark circles and creases. But as I've gotten older, the creases have just gotten worse and deeper to the point where any other concealer that I use will pretty much sink into my lines and make me look significantly older. This one does not do that. I don't know the magic in here. I do blend it in with my fingers anywhere I apply it. I use this on blemishes too. It has really good coverage. It's just a nice satin natural finish and it just melts in so beautifully with your fingers. So I always use this with my fingers, but underneath the eyes, it's the only thing that leaves them looking smooth. A holy grail. If you have really creasy under eyes, you need this. Okay, I just have my powder and then we'll talk about all the fun things like bronzer, blush, and stuff like that. My favorite is still, again, an old staple, the Kosas Cloud Set Powder. Mine is very used and loved. It is just such a natural, smoothing, easy powder. Like I use this all the time. It doesn't really look like you have powder on. Like it just looks that smoothing and natural on the skin, which I really love, but it still sets everything. I think that scared me a little bit in the beginning when I heard that about this powder because I wanted it to still set everything and I didn't want my under eyes to crease. I wanted my blemishes to stay covered with the concealer I had put on, and this does that. I can't recommend it enough. Now moving into the other stuff, I have really become a cream product girly in all areas. I just love how natural they look on my skin and just honestly more seamless. I just feel like powder products don't blend quite the same. For bronzer, the Makeup Revolution Ultra Cream Bronzer. This one is in the shade Light. This is absolutely stunning. It is so affordable and the pigment on this is insane. Like you definitely have to be careful. I know some people have said they'll go in with their fingers and apply it on their face. I personally take a brush and I just stipple into the product like once or twice, tap my brush in there and then kind of like stipple it and blend it onto the cheeks. And I have really good control over how much product I use when I do it like that. It looks so flawless on the skin. It blends really beautifully and it has like a nice coverage to it. So it really looks very flawless, like I said. Okay, blush. I have two to talk about. First one is going to be very predictable. This is probably everyone's favorite. It's the Rare Beauty Liquid Blush. I have the shade Hope. I need to get more shades because this is the best blush formula I've ever used. I said it the first time I used it. I got it when it was pretty popular, but it hadn't gone as viral yet. And when I put it on my face, I was like, this is the best blush I've ever used. And I have not changed my mind since then. It's very pigmented, but I think you get the hang of it after a few times. 1 or 2 dots on your face is enough. I personally apply it to the back of my hand and go in with my brush because I can really control how much I'm using in that way. So there's not much else to say. This is just fantastic. It's truly top-notch quality. And then the other blushes are from Merit, and this is more of like my everyday blush. So that one's when I'm feeling a little more glam, doing a little bit more with my makeup, and then this is like everyday running out the door. I'll apply these on bare skin just as a little bit of color, or I'll apply them when I have a full face of makeup on, but I really like them for everyday looks. So my most recent one is in the new packaging, which is now this beautiful gold. This is the shade Stockholm, and it's the popular baby pink, basically, that everyone talks about. I feel like the Dior blush is the one that got it started, and then all of these other brands started coming out with these pretty pink colors. It just brings your cheeks to life, honestly. I can't explain it, but the other two are Terracotta and Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills is this kind of peachy pink basic blush color that goes with everything. Like it's the go-to if you want one blush shade that kind of just looks good with anything. Lastly is the shade Terracotta. This is kind of almost bronzy toned blush. It looks so good when you're not wearing any makeup and you just want to add color to the cheeks because it's like that perfect in-between of a blush and a bronzer. So this is my go-to product for that, and because of that, it's probably the one I've used the most just because it's such a good staple for me in that way. But it also looks really good with a full face of makeup. It just gives you that warm caramel kind of cheek. It's really beautiful with the latte makeup trend. It goes so perfectly. Definitely gives a more sheer look than the Rare Beauty ones, although I feel like it's still enough pigment, and it also gives a lot more of a wet, dewy look to the skin. It really is the epitome of a dewy blush. So if you like something dewy and wet looking, you would love that. It's just very much that glossy, natural look, which I think Merit just is in general. I really love the brand and everything I've tried from them. Speaking of, I have a highlight from them as well. This is my favorite cream highlight for sure. It's the Merit Day Glow Highlighting Balm. This is in the shade Kava, and it's very much the same thing, that glossy, wet look. And it's very natural. I think the thing with this one is it leaves that glossy, dewy look a lot more than other cream highlights I've tried. A lot of them kind of tamp down and they don't stay as wet looking, whereas this one stays that like wet look, but it's still really natural and there's not a lot of shimmer to it. I'm not as much of a blinding highlight girl now, so I feel like this is the perfect everyday highlight, and I'll even use it when I'm doing more glam looks. But the other highlight that I do love, and I do sometimes use this with makeup that I want to last a little bit longer. I know this is, again, one of those throwback products, but it's stayed a favorite for me. I just recently picked up a new one because mine was so old. This is the Essence Pure Nude Highlight, and it's just that perfect, sheeny, natural highlight. It really doesn't look like a powder on the face. And it does have more of a powder highlight look to it, obviously, than the Merit one, but it still has a really beautiful, natural sheen that looks more like a cream than a lot of other powders. This is the only powder highlight I have in my collection at this point. I decluttered all of the others because it's the only one I ever use. I just don't like that shimmery, glittery look on my cheeks anymore. It's just not for me. Okay, we're getting there, guys. Let's talk about lip products and then we'll do kind of the miscellaneous stuff. It was really hard to narrow these down and I do have quite a few, so I'm gonna go through them really quickly. As far as lip liner, I've pretty much exclusively been using the NYX ones because they're affordable, they have really nice shades, they last pretty well. I really like them. I know there are so many high-end formulas out there that people rave about. I just haven't really wanted to spend $20 to $30 on a single lip liner, but let me know your favorite lip liner. I'd love to hear your recommendations. I have the shades Nude Truffle and Nude Beige. Nude Truffle is a little bit more of a deep brownie nude, and Nude Beige is more of that pinky nude shade that's like your lips, but better, sort of. Again, I have a decent amount here. Probably the one I've talked about the most recently is the Lawless Forget the Filler Tinted Lip Balm in the shade Georgie. It's that beautiful sheer balm, but it also has that really mild minty feeling, not like strong plumping. The shade Georgie is just like the perfect everyday nude type of shade, and it really is a good match for my lips personally. Another product that is very similar in the way it feels on the lips because it has that nice slight minty feeling is the Rare Beauty Tinted Lip Oil. This one definitely has more pigment because it's like a lip stain and it's slightly more glossy. I have mine in the shade Happy and I have it on today in the center of my lips. That's really the main way that I use this. I will put a lip liner that's more neutral on the outside of my lips, and then I'll take this and put it in the center. And something about that just looks really natural and pretty. I don't always love bright shades all over the lips, but when I apply it in the center, I just really like the way it looks. And then I layered on top the Fawn Beauty Recovery and Glow Lip Oil in the shade That's Amazing. I really like the formula, but the shade is this really pretty milky pink that kind of shears things out when you apply it over other lip products. It's just the perfect shade for that. I love applying this on its own as well, but something about it over other lip products, it just kind of gives it that like milky pink wash over your lips, but it's not like super pigmented. I really love the Fawn lip products. I've talked about them a lot and I just love their packaging too, but my favorite shade in the glosses is the shade A Staple, and this is just neutral pinky kind of shade, and I think she designed this to be the gloss version of the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lipsticks, and I do think it matches that really well, but something about it in a gloss, it's even prettier. Really, really love this one and all of their glosses. I'm definitely talking about these longer than I plan to. Back to Merit, I really love their lip products as well. I love the Signature lipstick. It's a really lightweight, thin lipstick that feels like nothing on the lips, and then their lip oils, probably my favorite lip oil formula. I've recently really been loving the shade Taupe. It's just like that beautiful light taupey shade, and it's really neutral and it goes with everything. But I have other shades too that I really like. And by the way, the lipstick shade that I have is Slip. It's a really nice neutral, kind of nudie, also kind of like a taupey shade, but one that's pretty similar and almost a dupe in my opinion is from Revlon. It's the shade Brazilian Tan. I really love this Revlon Super Lustrous lipstick line. Such a good staple lipstick formula, like just simple. It's pigmented, it has a nice satin finish. It's just a good formula. They have a lot of good shades. My favorite is Brazilian Tan. It's kind of that same situation. A really nice neutral nude, and I feel like it's really similar to Slip. Obviously the formulas aren't the same, but the color on the lips looks very similar. So if you want something more affordable, you can find the Revlon one on Amazon. For eyebrows, I keep it very simple nowadays. I do have a pencil in right now, the Lawless one, and I do really like that, but I still think the Anastasia and the Benefit pencils are probably still like my favorite because I love that really thin pencil. Like it just works really, really well. It's the perfect formula, but I do really like the Lawless one too. It's a little bit like longer. It's pretty easy to fill your eyebrows in quickly, but a lot of the time I don't even use a pencil and I'll just use a tinted brow gel. And my favorite is the e.l.f. Wow Brow. I've mentioned this before as well. It's just so good. It always makes my brows look more filled in than other tinted brow gels because it has those fibers in it that make your brows look thicker. And I do go through it a little bit quicker. It's a small tube and I just feel like there's not as much product in here as I wish, but it's like $3 or $4 and I do really, really love it. So I will keep repurchasing this because I love it so much. That's like my everyday staple for my brows. Finishing off with eye products, I don't really have eyeshadow to talk about because it's not something I'm as into in the last while. On my eyes right now, I'm just wearing the Il Makiage and Kathleen Lights collab. That's pretty much what I use every day. I've said it before, but it was a limited edition palette, so I didn't really feel the need to bring it out because you can't get it, which is a bummer because I really love that palette. It's like my go-to. It has everything I need, but it's limited edition. I do kind of want to try another palette because it's been so long since I bought one and I've kind of been getting into makeup more, so maybe I could like play around with eyeshadow a little bit more. Let me know what your favorite eyeshadow palette is in the comments. I would love to hear it. I really love neutrals. So anything really good quality with a lot of neutrals that's not too big because I do tend to like smaller palettes, let me know in the comments. Anyways, these are the last two products for eye makeup. I only have one mascara to show you guys, even though this isn't my all-time favorite. It is my favorite from the drugstore, the Essence Lash Princess. It's probably the best drugstore mascara I've found to this day, and it's super, super affordable. But I do like the Lancôme Monster Big a little bit more than this one. It just gives you insane volume. It's crazy. I actually do have a tube in my empties bin right now, but I'm not going to go get it because you guys have seen it here on my channel before. I'll have it linked in the description box as well with all the rest of these products. But that one and then the other one that I really love is from Thrive Cosmetics, their liquid lash extensions. That also gives you insane lashes. So those are like my three favorite mascaras, but this is the one I'm going through right now because I don't like to have more than one or two mascaras open at a time. I just feel like it's wasteful. Lastly, I'm not really a big eyeliner person usually, but Milk sent me this Infinity Longwear eyeliner, and you guys, this is so good. This is like such a pigmented black liner, and I love applying this to my tight line to add fullness to my lashes and to make my lash line look darker. It just adds so much to your look, and this one does not transfer down onto my lower waterline. It stays, which I love because that is what hindered me a lot of the time from putting black eyeliner on my tight line because it would just transfer to the bottom and then kind of look crazy. So I really love that this one stays put. And it's just such a pigmented black liner. It's so good. So had to mention that. That is it for my favorite makeup products. Let me know just in general your favorite makeup products in the comments. I would love to hear. Wait guys, don't leave yet. I totally forgot to mention a setting spray. So I'll quickly just mention this. It's the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Setting Mist. This is more for melting the makeup together than it is for like making it last a super long time, but it literally makes my makeup look flawless at the end. The mister on it is really fine. This is one that I repurchased because I just love it so much. I keep going back to it. So that is actually it. Again, thank you for watching. Consider subscribing if you'd like to see more content from me. Let me know what else you want to see from me in the comments. If you want to see more makeup content. All right, I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.